7th, 2020 at 6 o'clock, and we'll start by calling the roll. Ward 1,
Paul Guthrie, Ward 1.
Ward 2. Anybody? Ward 3.
Hi, Jay, Ward 3.
I'm Don Ames with Ward 4. Ward 5. Anybody? Okay, so we have
And we have Mr. Dole from Ward 6.
Ward 6, Dale Dole.
Ward 6. Sorry, Dale.
No problem.
I'll call you Dale. Okay, did somebody else join us there? Sydney? Sounded like. Okay, well, we'll go ahead.
There's a few trying to join in. I think they're coming online now.
We'll begin with public hearings. First one is on request by Don Crafton for a conditional use permit for materials on a detached structure. Is there anyone here besides Don who would like to speak in that regard?
Yes, this is Mark C., and I would like to speak on this matter.
Okay, would you like to go ahead, Mark?
Okay, that'd be fine. I've lived at Mark C. I live at 127 Twin Bay Drive. I'm right around the corner from Mr. Crafton. I'm not exactly sure what his address is, but Twin Bay and Tyne Bay are kind of a circle back here, a very small circle. There's only 5 houses in the middle of the circle. So Mr. Crafton just lives right around the corner. He's on the outside of the circle. I'm on the inside of the circle. I've lived here for, I can't even remember, let's say over 20, 25 years. I don't believe Mr. Crafton has lived at his residence as long, but I did meet Mr. Crafton when he moved to the neighborhood. And I guess what I can say is he has greatly improved that house, that property. It looks 10 times better than it ever did. When he does anything, he does it right. He does it so it looks good and it improves the neighborhood. And I would just say that if he's requesting to use different building materials than what he's being told he has to use, I completely trust him that it is still going to look 10 times better than anything in the neighborhood.
Hello together, it's Florin Modunescu here. Sorry, I have some problems in the begin to connect myself in this meeting. I'm the plant manager here in Hendersonville. Only short information for you.
Okay, we'll have your public hearing and your appeal in just a moment. Anyone else besides Mr. C? If not, I'll bring that. Rachel Collins.
I'm Rachel Collins. I'm the newly elected alderman from Ward 5, and I was able to visit Mr. Crafton's home and look at the way his land is positioned in the curve of the road. And I just want to encourage you to be open-minded and consider his appeal. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Collins. Anyone else for that particular appeal? If not, I'll call that public hearing to a close. We'll have a public hearing on request by James Glasson for a conditional use permit for warehouse distribution in a general commercial zoning district. We have 2 public hearings regarding appeals by James Glasson. This one is for the using the warehouse in a general commercial zoning district. Is there anyone that would like to speak to that other than the person making the appeal? I don't see anyone. I'll bring that hearing to a close, and we'll open the hearing regarding a request by same person for a conditional use permit for storage of hazardous materials in an industrial zone. Is there anyone who wanted to speak to that outside of the person making the appeal? If not, I'll bring that appeal to a close. Excuse me, that public hearing to a close. The next item on the agenda are the minutes. I hope you've all looked at them from the November 9th, 2020 meeting. That was also a Zoom meeting. Anybody want to make a motion for approval?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes as prepared for tonight's meeting.
Is
I
there a-
second that.
Seconded. Okay, motion by Dale Dool, and second by Ty J. Those in favor, please say aye.
We'll need to do a roll call vote on this.
Would you call the roll, Sydney?
Sure, absolutely. Ames,
Aye.
Dool,
Aye.
Jay,
Aye.
Guthrie.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, then they are approved unanimously. We'll move on to the next item, which is old business, and I see none unless someone has something that they need to bring up that's not on the agenda. All right, then we'll go from old business to new business. The first item is appeal case number 1220-1M. Request by Don Crafton for a conditional use permit to allow a mix of hardy and stone rather than materials designated previously by the Board of Zoning and Appeals at 122 Tyne Bay. Sydney, do you want to begin?
Sure, I can do that. So in your staff report, we kind of talked about in September, Mr. Crafton came to the board because he was wanting to do a 2,000 square foot detached accessory building. Because of the way his lot and his home is situated on his lot, he had to, it's technically considered a front yard detached building because it crosses that front plane of the house, even though it's kind of the side yard. And at that time, there were several conditional uses that had to be permitted. And part of that was that the zoning ordinance stipulates that if it is in the front plane of the house, the materials have to match the house, which is a flat stone. And so at that time, the board, in an effort to help Mr. Crafton with his appeal and not make him have to do 100% flat stone, said, yes, you can do 100% flat stone on one side and 50% on the front, and then a water table on another side. And the mix was a little bit odd. And so Mr. Crafton is coming back before you tonight with a different appeal to be able to do the flat stone on the 3 visible sides with hardy plank the remainder of the building. And in your packet, you had some illustrations of what that would look like with what was kind of prescribed and then what he's proposing to do. And Mr. Crafton, if you want to speak to this, then feel free.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I think you have a picture of the full stone side facing my neighbor that was suggested last time. What I want to do is do the windsot on that side where it will match the other 2 sides, the front and the left side. I talked to a sales rep at Coronado Stone, and after 10 years, he says that I will not be able to match my stone. The full wall that was suggested would look new, and it's probably going to be, he said anywhere from 25 to 35% fade in 10 years. The house, we did the stone 10 years ago. So I feel like the 40-inch windsot on that side and on the front and on the rear side, not the rear side, but the left side, wouldn't, even being new stone, it's not going to be enough to where it will show a lot of difference. And the rest a dark hardy board, and the doors would be a grayish brown, where it would look like actually coming down the street, it should look like the house was built L-shaped with the garage attached. It's going to be about 20 feet away from that corner, and 140 feet, I think we measured from my neighbor's property line coming down the street. It's 73 feet from the street. And so it's a pretty good distance away for visibility. The one side, I just feel like it would look a lot nicer. 3 different exterior finishes. I can't agree to that. That just doesn't seem like it would look that great to me. I want to do something. I will try to. My house has shrubs in the front by the existing drive. I will put shrubs to match that, or either I'll put roses down that one side in order to match the house, to landscape it nicely. I just don't like the idea of a full wall of stone on that one side. That's how I feel. So whatever somebody else wants to say.
Okay, appreciate you coming back, Don. We'll take questions from the board now. Anyone have a question for Mr. Crafton?
I just have general comments, I guess, to the board members and maybe to the applicant. So do we have to have a motion on the floor or something like that, or how do we do this?
You can go ahead and ask questions of the applicant now, and then we'll take a motion.
Okay. So I guess we're talking about the 3 sides. What about the back side? Is there any discussion in the paperwork about the back side?
It's going to be all hardy board.
Okay.
100% hardy board.
To kind of elaborate there, it abuts core property, so nothing can or ever will be built back behind him. It's forestry basically that eventually backs up to Old Hickory Lake.
So what we're calling the backside is the side that faces the lake,
Yes.
That's correct.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead. What else?
That's all the question I had for the applicant at this time.
Okay. Anyone else have a
It's
question?
forest. Excuse me. It's forest and drainage would be at the rear.
Okay. Anyone else have a question for Mr. Crafton? If not, is there a motion?
Yeah, I like to make a motion. I heard from his neighbor, and he's got a support out there, and it appears he stepped up the plate and put a lot of time and effort. I'd like to make a motion that we accept his constructual concepts and move forward with his appeal.
All right. Is there a second?
I second that.
I'm sorry, who was that?
Ty, Jay.
Thank you. Okay. Any discussion further?
Yeah, the only thing I want to add to this is the proposal that he put forward, and plus putting the shrubbery in place, and also the neighbor testifying on his behalf. This is very similar to what we did at the beginning of the year for another property for a big secondary unit. We had a water table put clear around, and everybody was satisfied with what we came up with. So that's why I'm putting my support behind this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, Sydney, if you'll call the roll.
Sure. Ames,
Yay.
Guthrie,
Yay.
Jay,
Yes.
Dole.
Yes.
Okay. It is unanimous and the motion carries.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Crafton. Appreciate
Thank you
back in. It looks
and
like
everyone.
a good thing.
Thank you for going back through the process, and I'll be in touch with you tomorrow.
Great. Thanks.
All right. The next appeal case is number 1220-2M. Request by James Glasson with Osram for an additional or conditional use permit for a warehouse distribution site at 145 Old Shackle Island Road, which is general commercial zoning. Let's see, I guess the applicant is here. I saw you a second ago.
Yeah, I'm here, Austin Moore.
Okay, if you'd go ahead and, well, wait a minute. Let me ask the staff, Sydney Simpson, if she has any comments she'd like to make first.
Sure. And just to kind of hit on the staff report that you received, the general commercial zone allows warehouse by conditional use only. When the applicant purchased the property over a year ago for warehousing use, they thought that it was the same use because it was a contractor that was there before, but our zoning ordinance then and now makes a distinction between the two. And so when they found out about that through various processes, then they came forward with the application to go before the board. It's my understanding that they also use this kind of additional storage for their site at 175 Old Shackle. And they also use this for some office use as well in association with the business at 175.
Okay, thank you.
Sydney, just to add to that, it's actually not used for office at all. It's just strictly used for warehouse, which is empty packaging for our products.
Okay.
And
you
it's a rental as well. We do not own the building.
Okay.
Okay. Could the applicant, do you have any comments that you'd like to make about this appeal?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm sorry, I don't see you, but the applicant making comments about the appeal.
Yeah, no, but I don't think I have any comments about that.
I'm sorry?
No, I don't have any comments. I'm actually with the company that I applied for this basically to get the use and occupancy permit. I'm not actually an applicant to appeal anything. If that's what you're meaning, if you're saying it against it.
We don't have any further comments.
Okay, so basically then we're going to ask the board for a motion. Basically,
I'm sorry, I do have one more comment to make. The zoning ordinance stipulates that a warehouse use can only be 10,000 square feet unless the Board of Zoning Appeals, can approve up to 25,000 square feet. So if you are making a motion to approve, the staff recommendation would be that it would be for the entire square footage of that building, which is approximately 10,800. So it's just over what they would be able to do if the use was granted. So as part of your motion, it would just need to include the entirety of the space.
as currently being used.
That's correct.
Okay, anybody want to make that motion?
Mr. Chair, before I see that 10 spaces are really what's required. We're at 27. Is that correct on parking? Do they utilize that max capacity very much? Do we know?
No, we do not.
Okay. All right.
We typically have 3 to 4 employees in that building at a time.
Perfect. Well,
Yeah,
Mr. Chair.
usually 1 or 2 cars parked over there. It's about it.
Okay.
Any other questions for the applicant before the motion?
Mr.
Okay.
Chair, I'll make an motion. Motion that we grant approval for up to the full amount, which appears to be 10,800 square feet for conditional use to be granted for this property.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Ty,
Jay.
seconded it. Okay. Will you call the roll, Sydney, please?
I have a question first.
Okay.
Question for Sydney. So basically on this paperwork here, we're here, or the applicant is in front of us because of 800 square feet.
It's the use as a whole. The warehousing is only permitted by conditional use permit through the Board of Zoning Appeals. They can't do it outright, like they could a retail center or something like that.
Okay, but if this building was 10,000 square feet, we wouldn't be here.
We would still be here. It's the use, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
That's the use and the size.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before we vote? Okay, thank you, Ty. Sydney, if you'll go ahead and call the roll then.
Sure. Dool,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Ames,
Yes.
Guthrie,
Yes.
and Mr. McDonald joined us as well. Do I need to unmute you?
Muted. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Then it's unanimous.
It is
Thank you.
unanimous. The
Thank you all
conditional,
very much. We'll go to the next appeal then, which is number 1220-3M. Request by James Glasson with Osram for a conditional use permit for the storage of hazardous material, liquid nitrogen tanks at 175 Old Shackle Island Road. That's industrial zoning. Sydney?
sure. So you also received the staff report on this that basically explains that the Osram is a LED electronic manufacturing plant. And as part of their higher end, they use the liquid nitrogen to create a tighter seal. And so it's not on all of their products, but on some. And so they're asking for a 9,000 gallon tank to be able to supply, basically to manufacture these lighting elements. And then I will let the applicant speak to the rest and answer any questions that you may have.
I have a housekeeping situation first. On the staff reports, it's listed on both of these. The second email on the first Word document, 1120. I believe that needs to be 1220, or
That's
am I
correct.
looking at the right one?
That's probably correct. That probably needed to be.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was looking at the right one.
Yes, 1220.
I do frequently copy and paste the format, so every now and then there's something like that that pops
Okay.
up.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. If the applicant would like to speak, go right ahead, please.
Yeah, the liquid nitrogen that we use is actually used on our basically our oven reflow process, which is like basically the process of what the solder paste turns into actual solder and adheres the components to the board. And basically what the nitrogen is used for is on some of the products finishing. It's like an organic finishing, and without the use of nitrogen, it'll actually cause like corrosion on the board during the process. So we use the nitrogen inside of the oven chamber to remove that oxidation to prevent the board from oxidizing and just get better reflow and better solder joints and make a better quality product.
Okay. I believe we have someone with Fire Marshal's office who could speak to the conditions of having such a tank.
We're on board with this completely. The existing, what's their rate?
Excuse me one second. Is everyone having a problem hearing as well?
I just turned my volume up to see if I could hear him.
Everybody hear me now?
Marshall Nolan, if there's any way you can make it louder, it would be helpful.
Is this louder?
Not really.
All right, well, hold on. Okay. Is this louder?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great stuff.
All right, so I took my headphones out. So the fire department is on board with this completely. The existing use has a portable tank, which has access to it by anybody driving by. It could be a hazard for a vehicle or anything like that. is what they're representing, having a tank, and it's going to be fenced in. Everything's going to be where it should be, how it's going to the building. Everything's going to be appropriate. So we're completely on board with this right now. If you have any questions about what they're doing or how they're doing it, I'll be happy to answer that.
Okay. Will that be memorialized in writing so that we can have that associated with this one, or if it's approved?
I'm sorry. Now that I have my headphones out, I'm having trouble hearing you. Sorry, I'm on this little laptop that the fire department gives me, so it's hard for me to hear you.
Okay.
I will
I
put
want to
it
make
in
sure
the-
that we have something in writing attached to this as part of the acceptance, if we indeed accept the this. That's from the fire department, because none of us are experts in that regard that I'm aware of.
Yes, and
You're on the board.
we're not expert either. So we've actually reached out to third parties and asked questions about this. So we've done our due diligence on that. So we have no problem with that.
Okay, super. Questions from the board to the applicant or to the marshal?
Yes, I have a question. In the rendering, will those bollards be around, the security bollards be around the fence of that as well?
From what I've seen, yes, they'll be on the exterior of the fence.
Okay,
Yeah, that's correct.
perfect.
Any other questions for the applicant or the fire department?
Oh, fire department, I got questions for whoever can help me get through my questions. So
Go
I'll
ahead.
just go ahead and ask. I see the paperwork says 29 feet high. I mean, for that height, what are the mountings and for the where I'm driving at is wind resistance. How much wind can it handle before it falls over or something like that?
I think McMullen should be able to answer that.
Sure. Hey, can you guys hear me all right? Are you
Yeah.
able to hear me? All right.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm Mike McMullen. I'm with Mathis and Gas. We are going to be installing this system. So the pad thickness here will be about 2 feet. So we will have anchor bolts that are 18 inches. They will, if a tornado hits its head on, there's nothing we can do. But these types of systems have survived hurricanes and astronomical problems. It's not going anywhere.
Okay, so I think I kind of heard straight line winds, probably around 100 miles an hour.
Yep, not a concern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else, Mr. J?
That's it for now. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, would entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and accept this with no stipulations, other than the from our fire department having some documentation, their support and their third-party findings.
Okay. Second from anyone?
I second, Ty J.
Thank you, Ty. Okay, questions further? All right, Sydney, if you'll call the roll, please.
Sure. Ames,
Yes.
Dool,
Yes.
Guthrie,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
and McDonald.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, that passes unanimously then. And I'd like to take a second to thank Osram for coming forward here. We are your most favored manufacturer in Hendersonville, and you're really appreciated a lot. Thank you very much for what you do.
Great. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
Thank you
Okay,
for-
that's
yeah,
all
appreciate
we have. Sydney, I believe you might have some comments before we close in other
Sure.
business.
Sure. So if you were unable to attend the online training, I will email you out the recorded version of that tomorrow. And you'll need to watch that and then swear by the life of your firstborn child that you did that. Be prepared to answer quizzes on the next BZA meeting and all that. No, we'll just need to make sure that you get that done by the end of the year. So I'll email that out to you tomorrow. And then additionally, I thought we might get a little reprieve for the new year, but it does not look like that's going to be the case. We will have a meeting January 4th. We have not yet heard if the governor is going to extend the Zoom, but I'm 99.9% confident, and I would throw in my last bag of Skittles that it'll be like this. And so I'm proud of you guys for stepping it up and showing up tonight. So good job. We did it.
All right. Anything else from the board members?
I want to thank everybody for doing such a good job. Paul got your award one.
Same here. And Feliz Navidad, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, all the fun things.
All right.
So January 4th.
That's correct. At 6 o'clock. Same great place, I think.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
That motion.
I'll second.
All right. And I didn't say hello to Timothy Whitten. Glad you joined us tonight as well. Thank you very much.
I possibly should mention that as well. So Grant is passing off the baton, and Timothy will now be a regular staple here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I look forward to
Hey,
seeing
Tim.
all of your bright, cheerful faces.
I don't know whether I ever met you, but hi.
Timothy, we need
Hey,
a little
good to meet
bit
you.
more powder on your head, Timothy, the next time. If you would. All right.
I've always wanted to join this party, so I'm excited about it.
Good. On
Grant, take
favor of,
care. I guess we won't see you ever again, so take care.
Happy holidays.
in favor of adjournment, please say yes when Sydney calls your name.
Ames,
Yes.
Dool,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Guthrie,
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
All right. See you
Thank
next
you.
year.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye, January 4th.
That's
Merry
right.
Christmas, everybody.
Everybody stay safe. That's it.